Lionhead movement, true peace and equality.
What's up, everyone? Back with another video today. Today we're going to be talking about a few different topics. But I want to start off with Angkor Wat, the symbolism, the spirituality, and, also in the physical world, or the physical realm that we live in. Because Angkor Wat isn't just a physical thing, it's also spiritual. So let's start. Angkor Wat, which means city temple. It's located in Cambodia, which is in Southeast Asia. They also have another name for this city. And this is the name right here. I cannot pronounce it, and I don't want to, mess up their beautiful name. And it was built in the first half of the 12th century, as I said. And in rule was King Suryavarman II. And it took 30 years on 400 acres of land to build. And it was only constructed with the best materials available. Angkor Wat is the biggest religious temple in the world, or on this plane of existence. And it's also one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, they also speak this language, and they use the Khmer alphabet, spelled Khmer. That's the alphabet that they use, and the symbols right here they use for their language. And I've always been interested in symbols, so this is very beautiful. Now, the temple was built because, see, first it was a Hindu temple, and then it became a Buddhist temple. So, within 3 decades of construction, they've added over 1,000 buildings. And these buildings and everything represent a microcosm of the Hindu universe. Until King Jayavarman VII, I hope I'm not destroying that, his reign was from 1181/C1220, and it was dedicated to the Buddhist after the Hindu gods failed him. And he also built a new capital called Angkor Thom. And this temple was built in dedication to Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. Vishnu, the preserver, protector of good, and the controller of the universe. We have Shiva, and she owns a trident. And she is the god of destruction and regeneration. And then we have Brahma, who is the creator of the universe, and the Vedas, the scriptures, and the people, a supreme being. And these dedications to these 3 gods, they also have different avatars or representations throughout history. So now, on the spiritual side of Angkor Wat and Mt.Meru, they said in order to approach the mountain, you had to have permission from the mountain. But down my rabbit hole, in my journey of Angkor Wat, I discovered tribes, civilizations, religions, and people of all walks of life saying the same spiritual aspect. Some say it exists on the spiritual and physical realm. Buddhist, Hindu, Vedic, Jain, Japanese, Sumerian, Egyptian, ancient Iran, Turkmen tribes. Even the Navajo spoke of encircled mountain. The ancient Germans called it Irminsul. Also, the Dogon tribe speaks of it. They describe it as a golden, bronze, or copper mountain reaching the levels of the heavens, as far down connecting the levels of hell or the underworld. And all tribes and walks of life said it was a dwelling place for the gods. And they created deities, and they have different, if you look at and research the different tribes, they have different kings guarding the 4 corners or the 4 lands. I'm gonna put some of the king's names down. Alright, I'm not gonna... The king's names are very hard to pronounce. But I've also discovered too, through my research, is that some places thought this place existed in other parts of the realm too, not just the North Pole. But when I found the Mercator's map, and I learned a lot of this from Brother Sanchez, and then I just went on my own rabbit hole, and man, so much to research, and it brings you to so many avenues, like the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life is very symbolic in many ways. The Tree of Life is mentioned in Genesis chapter 2, verse 9, in the midst of the Garden of Eden, with the Tree of Knowledge of good and evil. And the Egyptians had so much, and it was kind of, it was, the Kabbalah, Egyptian, had similarities. Judaism, the Garden of Eden, there is a tree of souls that blossoms, and it produces new souls that fall into the guff, or the new body. It said that Gabriel reaches into the tree and grabs the first soul he touches. Then Layla, the angel of conception, watches over the embryo until birth. And I thought that was pretty deep. There's so many views: Eastern Christians, Eastern Orthodox, Western Christians. The Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, represents several examples of sacred geometry. Represents as a diagram of 10 points, 10 nodes or knots. The nodes represent spheres, and there's 22 lines connecting them. The Tree of Life represents multiple different things across this beautiful plane of existence. The symbol does not belong to one specific person or tribe or civilization. The Tree of Life is a sacred symbol. The Tree of Life represents family and the connection to our ancestors. It represents the connection of realms, the heavens, the firmament, earth, and the underworld, and also represents the strength of our family and its existence. And after all that, I've also read that some people believe that the Tree of Life wasn't for the mortals. It was for just the gods. You know, the Egyptians, I think this is Egyptians or Kemetic, said they believed it was not for the mortals. The Tree of Life gave eternal life and knowledge of the divine plan, and a map of destiny. Now, we're going to get into the physical part of the Tree of Life. Now, the magnetic mountain, Mt.Meru, is symbolic to the Tree of Life, and the Tree of Life is symbolic to the Aurora Borealis. Now, Mt.Meru creates the Tree of Life through energy, electromagnetic energy. As above, so below, micro to macro. The energy being negative and positive, polarities, like the male, female, sun, moon, heaven or hell, God or devil, which exists in the physical and in the spiritual realm. I tell people we don't die. We are flesh and we go to the earth, where it was created, or where we were created from, and your soul goes to the heavens, upward. Spiritually, your soul, I didn't mean to say your soul having an experience on earth. You know, someone mentioned when we pass, our soul rips from the flesh, That's why we say rest in peace, RIP. And that was Brother Sanchez who said that. And I'm sharing that with everyone because that was very interesting. And another one is someone said, you know, how can someone say one God built this place when you look at a computer, a car, or even a dresser? Many people built those. So what if many gods built this realm just as well? That's just a thought. I also want to speak on the electromagnetic fields that's around everything. It gives off energy, a vibration. As you look at this picture, if you look at the earth and you see the dome with the flat plane, well, you flip that upside down like this, as above, so below. This diagram right here, the sun, the moon, the negative, the positive, and you look at this map right here, as you see the Mercator's map in the center, and then there's other lands. I personally think they're hiding lands, but that's another video. But the electromagnetic field ties in. The electromagnetic field is the tree of life, right? Spiritual and physical. And the tree of life and electromagnetic fields also tie into crystals, your chakras, certain metals or metallic objects, like, you can wear chains or give off certain vibrations. Just as well, they say our connection to the stars, the wandering stars, the fixed stars. We all have connections to all this. It ties in. Now, I'm not a master at, electromagnetism. And they say gravity is different from electromagnetism, that gravity is a lesser force in electromagnetism. Now, electromagnetism's on a micro and macro level, which meaning when I say micro, macro, meaning small to large, or everything's a cycle. You come into life, you leave life, the tree grows, then it dies, or the tree grows from a seed, creates fruit, falls to the ground, and grows another tree from the dead fruit, the seeds. As above, so below. Now, I want to jump real quick to gravity. Now, people say gravity is what holds things to the earth. And then you look at electromagnetic field, and you start to think. Now, they use gravity, which to me, anything lighter than oxygen floats and anything heavier falls. Density, buoyancy, it's simple. They like to make things difficult, to confuse. I found these pictures. I just wanted to share, which I thought was pretty interesting. Some of these pictures, when you look at them, it's like, what were these people thinking when they're like, a picture has 1,000 words? So I look at this picture and it makes me think about so many different things when I look at this picture. The sun, the moon, and they're pointing up at the stars, the cycle, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. We sit here and we argue with each other because everyone wants to know it all. But if people would just learn from each other and take the time to talk to each other, we could piece things together and learn so much more. When you start to question things that they teach us, when you use your imagination, go down a rabbit hole, you start to see we've been lied to about a lot of things in life. That's why I go down these rabbit holes. That's why I research, because I know there's so much more than to what is being said. And I plant these seeds. There's so much more information. I could go on for hours with some of these topics, but I'm just going to plant these seeds, and hopefully people will go and research and create their own rabbit holes to go down. And also realize that education is a fancy word for indoctrination. We're all in this hypnotized state. And these scientists and all these people that have these pieces of paper that say they're smart are sending us in wrong directions. Never stop questioning. Don't stop using your brain and researching, or take things for face value. To me, there's more than life than just getting up and going to work every single day of your life. I would just like to say this on the closing note, because I kind of forgot to put it in. I wrote down there's no fingerprint that's the same. So I said, what if our Creator started at a central point after dividing the waters, creating the heavens, the firmament, earth is the central point, and the underworld, like a drop from the primordial sea, hitting the earth's waters, creating a ripple effect outwards, creating the magnetic mountain Mt.Meru or Rupes Nigra, to connect the levels of the heavens, earth, and the levels of the underworld. The Creator put 4 continents or large islands surrounding the magnetic mountain, divided by the 4 rivers, to feed the waters of the earth, as well as the waters above come down to feed the earth. So many people argue, about who came first. And I was thinking one day about those 4 lands that surround the mountain, and the starting point and the central point. And what if the Creator took 4 shades of flesh, right? And put them on each piece of that land that surrounds Mt.Meru. And he put a female and male of each shade of flesh. 4, I would say 4 shades, right? Because the Creator knew that they would mate, create families, and go outward and populate the lands. Just a thought. Once they begin their journey outward from the center point, knowing one day they would meet up and share their viewpoints and populate the earth. We should question reality. Definitely question reality. Use our imagination more. We can never lose our imagination. That's who defines who we are, and our creativity. They want to take that away from us. Always question what we're being taught. Is it education or indoctrination? And thank you for watching. Peace out. Stay focused. And until next time, peace.